without further ado, thanks for joining us on this very special day. It's my, And it's my very special honor to introduce B. Kyle, the president of the St. Paul Area Chamber of Commerce, to kick us off. B?
Amanda and I were chuckling because we've known each other on social media. So I'm like, oh, you're what Amanda looks like. Oh, nice. Delighted to be here. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a commercial space junkie. So I'm in this going, okay, what's the clear height in here? About 60,000 square feet, about 21 clear height. Nice, brightly lit. Very impressed. For those of us who are in St. Paul, who aren't even commercial space junkies, this is a fabulous space. We need to applaud them for what you've done physically in this space. I think this organization is a great testament to how we as a community work together. The City of St. Paul contributed funds to this with their STAR grant. Sunrise Banks is here as a funder. Propel for nonprofits who invest in nonprofits to your success. Thank you for all of you who do that. So I really have the great pleasure of talking about TechDump for just a moment. You know, if there's anything that I find consistent in our community today across all lines is this sense of how can I give back, how can I contribute to change? And who would think that a computer company, or for that matter, old computers, can contribute to that conversation? And so this group I find to be incredibly relevant, current, and what they're doing is removing barriers, because if there's one other consistent message that we're hearing in the marketplace is everybody is saying, let me in, listen to me, remove that barrier so I have access to opportunity. You're doing that. And so really hats off to your organization. I am grateful to be able to introduce the rest of the leaders who are going to be joining. But just a moment to celebrate Amanda. For those of you who don't know what she's done here, she's a Bush Fellow. And this organization... And this organization in 2015 won the Minnesota Business Community Impact Award. So we're thrilled to be able to celebrate with you folks because, you know, this is really where it's at. And we're just here to celebrate you. So I have the honor really of introducing my friend, Dr. Bruce Corey, who is the Director of Planning and Economic Development at the City of St. Paul.
Good morning. It's a pleasure for me to be here at this very original that I've never been to a wire cutting in my entire life. And so this is going to be great for me. But most so, I'm very happy and inspired and honored to be part of this innovation that's happening in the Midway. And to leaders like Amanda, who are all over the Midway, you can see people like her who are really making this place explode with creativity and energy. And it's my honor today also to introduce to you our Honorable Melvin Carter, the Mayor of St. Paul. And it's very interesting in terms of this occasion and a core value of the Carter administration. I was going to, all of us have in our homes that old laptop and that old computer or that old piece of wire that's hidden in a basement. It's an untapped asset that people like here who are working here and this building is transforming into wealth and value. And this core administration of Mayor Carter is reflected in a lot of things that we do. And I want to, as part of this introduction of him, to talk about his role in working through the entire business ecosystem that's part of St. Paul. I was with him when he was with Hack the Gap. At the early startup stage, girls and women who are in the frontiers of the new technology, having a space where he was busy engaging with them. Or on the east side in Manana Restaurant, a beautiful story of an immigrant crossing borders, coming to St. Paul and launching this restaurant, which has become the cornerstone. Or if we look at the work with the Full Stack initiative that's directly connected to this initiative of the high-tech world, or his work as co-chair of the Downtown Business Alliance, where you're bringing the energy of the business world into not only revitalizing the downtown, but also revitalizing the entire city. And that snowball fight that I reluctantly went to was actually a genius idea, because what it was showing was what we are seeing today. We can take something that people may just take for granted and make it an innovation. And it's happening all across St. Paul, this innovation. And so we showed how we could take snow and make it fried ice cream. That was the image. Or his diving from the sky, which I'm sure his wife loved, was another way of showing that this bubble that surrounds what people think about St. Paul within and outside needs to burst. And we need to see the potential that this dynamic city has to offer. So it's my pleasure and honor today to work with Mayor Carter around this business ecosystem, but also right now to introduce you to you, ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Melvin Carter, Mayor of St. Paul.
Good morning. This is a pretty cool place to be this morning. So I appreciate all of you coming out. This is a pretty good turnout, too. You know, I tell folks all the time that politics, no matter who makes it look like an individual sport, it's a team sport. And look, the team that came together to make this happen is really incredible. So for all of you, the investors, Sunrise Banks, St. Paul Area Chamber of Commerce, we've got a good thing going, B. There's a lot of good things going on in St. Paul, and we're really excited about that. I also want to acknowledge, I see Matt Pravatsky from Councilmember Mitra Jalali Nelson's office here. Thank you for being here. It's good to see you. And I also see a county commissioner who represents this area who I've gotten a chance to work with quite a bit over the last 40 years or so, Ramsey County Commissioner Tony Carter. They're laughing because she's my mother. Look, I'm excited to be here. Dr. Corey talked about our snowball fight, and I want you to know, first things first, no matter what you read in the press, it's Minnesota, so everybody has to tie, but everybody who was there knows exactly what happened that day, right? Absolutely. Everybody who was there knows exactly what happened that day. But that's exactly what it was about. It's strange because when I was a child, when I was young, my sisters and I would jump out of bed in the fall and look to say, did it snow? Did it snow yet? And if it had, we'd be excited and say, it snowed. There's all this wonderful things that we can do, right? Somewhere along the line, we kind of fell into this, oh, it snowed, right? And that's tough, and that makes it harder for things to do. But it makes the possibilities endless. And that's one of the things that I think about as we were talking about equity recently. We were having this conversation about equity. And I always tell folks we're building a city that works for all of us. And what that means, that this has to be a city that's welcoming, that's safe, and that's inclusive of all of us, right? And we were having this conversation recently, and it's a change because our traditional approaches to city building haven't always really been about making sure that we all feel included in our local economy, making sure that we all feel included in all of our neighborhoods, making sure that we all feel safe. Sometimes those traditional approaches to city building, really center around drawing a circle and having insiders and outsiders. And that's not gonna work. So we were having this conversation and somebody said, hey, listen, I'm glad you're working on equity and all that stuff, but we gotta think about our local economy too. And I said, you don't get it. It's the exact same thing. And so to be in this space that's providing a needed service that has processed, I hear, 25 million pounds of e-waste. That's a lot of e-waste. And in doing so, has also provided 300,000 hours of workforce development programming. See, so the basic thing is, we always talk about the pie, right? When we talk about the economy, expanding the pie and, who gets a share of the pie and all this type of stuff. Well, if we want to expand the pie in St. Paul, let's just make sure everybody gets a chance to bake. And that's what we're doing here. That's what this organization does. And I gotta tell you, I couldn't be more thrilled. I couldn't be more excited to have this organization right here doing this incredible work right here in St. Paul. So thank you all. Thank everybody who made this happen. Thank you, Amanda, for your work. That's really incredible. So I went from a volunteer to being the CEO. Give her a round of applause, please. And before you leave, you know, the VIPs of this event are all wearing yellow vests. And so before you leave, I want us all to make sure that we say hello, we say thank you, and we say congratulations to all the people here who are doing the work while some of us just stand here and give speeches. That said, one of the fun parts of my job is being able to just proclaim things. And so we have a mayoral proclamation to deliver here today. Whereas March 27th, 2019, and as a aside, it's my daughter's birthday as well. So whereas March 27th, 2019 marks the opening of a new Tech Dump location in the city of St. Paul, and whereas Tech Dump offers St. Paul businesses and residents electronics recycling and refurbishment services to reduce electronic waste, mitigating harm to the environment caused by the mining of rare earth metals, and whereas Tech Discounts, the retail arm of Tech Dump, is an incredible resource for businesses and residents of St. Paul and beyond, giving access to reliable refurbished electronics, and whereas in doing this work, Tech Dump addresses several UN sustainable development goals, including poverty elimination, vocational skills, material footprint, sustainable industry, discrimination, urban waste management, hazardous waste, and climate change. And, that's right, and whereas the organization's impact includes extensive job training that leads to living wage employment, responsible electronics recycling and refurbishing that lessens the harmful effects of pollution on our environment, and refurbished electronics that make technology affordable. And whereas the city of St. Paul currently plays home to Tech Dump location at 860 Vandalia Street in the Creative Enterprise Zone, employing 60 individuals. And whereas job training for adults facing barriers to employment that prepares them to be valuable employees with expanded job opportunities is instrumental in creating equitable futures and pathways to improving quality of life for individuals, families, and local communities. Now, therefore, I, Melvin Carter, Mayor of the City of St. Paul, do hereby proclaim Wednesday, March 27th, 2019 to be Tech Dump Day in the City of St. Paul.
Well, happy Tech Dump Day, which is now a thing. And I think we should probably celebrate it every year, if that'll work for all of us. Yeah. So for my team, so therefore we're gonna make all of you do it too, but let's just take a breath and pause and look around this room. For some of you in the room, you've listened to us talk about 3 building deals that fell apart. For some of you in this room, you've helped us look at plans since 2016 of this wild dream that we had to not only move into a building that could set us up for success and growth in the future, but ideally purchase it so that it really would be truly our home. And so it's such a pleasure to have you all here today. And as I was thinking about celebrating with all of you today, of course I was really excited. I was excited for our team to get to just really take a breath. We've been pretty busy getting moved in here. And of course, I was super excited to meet Mayor Carter, because who wouldn't be? But I was also really excited to just celebrate our journey to this point, because there have been so many people that have gotten us here. And then there's also so much that's still ahead. Our founding goes back to a wonderful gentleman named Darren. And he shared how challenging it was for him to find employment due to some struggles with addiction. He shared that story and his journey with our co-founders, George and Tom. And through that vulnerability came what would eventually be known as Tech Dump. We modeled a business that could provide the opportunity for individuals who are re-entering our community to overcome the barriers that can exist in the workforce, connecting an amazing pool of talent to organizations in our community that need them. And I have several thank yous before, of course, we close out and do some fun tours. But before that, I want to remind each and every one of you in this room how much we need all of you. Community members, we need your junk. We need you to recycle your electronics, ideally sooner than later. Please, if you have a computer in your basement, bring it sooner than what is now the equivalent of like a Windows 95 computer, which can't be refurbished. You can also shop with us now online. Congrats, team that's worked on our Tech Discounts e-commerce store that's now live, techdiscounts.org. Soon we will have an additional retail store in this space under our Tech Discounts brand. And then community members, you can also contribute financially to us. We are a 501c3 nonprofit after all. And I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't remind you of that. Our trainees, we need you to take advantage of the opportunities. That's all that we're here for, is to provide opportunities as you move forward on whatever path and trajectory that looks like for you, and to share your ideas and dreams with us. For our staff, you provide a very important foundation, and you pour so much love into this place, and we need you here every day. For our board, we need you to advocate for us, and we sometimes need you to push us. So thanks for that. There's been so much love and energy that's gotten us to this point. And so I want to thank specifically Darren for sharing his journey. If he hadn't done that, who knows if we would even be here today. I want to thank George for his expertise, his network, financial backing, and getting us to this point. I want to thank Carl, who I don't think is here today, for knowing that gold is inside of computers. All of our colleagues who have also invested so much to get us here, whether they're still in our staff or have parted ways. Kate Gillette, you walked so many warehouses with me. Dusty ones, nasty ones that I wanted to call OSHA after touring. And after that many warehouses, we're here. So thank you to you and Mark and the entire Avison Young team. To our Bauer team that made our dream a reality of what in the beginning sounded like a wild idea of a 10,000 square foot space to have all of our reuse technicians, and an office space that matched the fact that we truly are a regional player in our industry. Thank you. Sunrise Bank, Propel, City of St. Paul, thanks for your money. And now we'll make you proud. And our team, because honestly, that's the whole reason that we're throwing this big shindig. Although later we're gonna kick you out and we're all gonna have walking tacos. But until then, I want to thank our team for the blood, sweat, and tears that got us into this place. We literally moved in the midst of the polar vortex. So, as you congratulate my team, if you want to also give them a couple extra kudos, that would be great. I also want to make sure to thank our board and then our community, because you all join us in this wild idea that we can prove through business that you can solve social challenges. And you also help us prove every day that everyone and everything has value. So thanks for being here. Thanks for being part of our journey. Thanks for continuing to be part of our journey. And with that, we'll wrap. And there's tours that are starting with our team. We'll go through the process. If you haven't already grabbed Cookie Cart cookies and coffee over on the side, please do. And again, our sincerest gratitude. Thanks for being here.